Hey, what is up guys, Massive here, back to do another video, and today I've got another game to highlight. It's going to be on Tiberium Rift. I'm going to be playing as the ZOCOM. Phoenix is going to be playing as the GDI. It's going to be a ZOCOM versus GDI, traditionally massively favouring GDI because they have juggernauts, and yeah, artillery is really the bane of ZOCOM's existence. You don't have anything to counter it. Less so against Scrin, because you can kill the Devastator warships with the Firehawks. ZOCOM obviously renowned for their Firehawks. Hopefully my microphone is recording this. I've had an occasion where I casted a game and then I found out that it wasn't actually recording. Guys, there's no feeling that's worse than that. But yeah, I'm going to be just opening up standard play in this game. You've seen it 1,000 times already. I'm going for that refinery first. Did I go refinery first? No, I went for power plant, but you can go for refinery first on this map, as long as you know what your opponent is. If you're against GDI, then your opponent can sell a watchtower and send it to your spike and garrison that building next to the spike, and then you're unable to capture the spike if you go ref first and then a barracks after a refinery. So you got to be wary of your opponent's factions. But if he is like a Nod or Black Hand or Scrin, then his scouts can be a little bit slow, or in the case of Scrin, they don't fire out of bunkers. Something very interesting about Scrin is all of their units do 200% damage against all civilian structures. EA deemed that to be fair because the Scrin units can't shoot outside of buildings. So they made all Scrin units, Seekers, Tripods, Disintegrators, Storm Riders, everything, deal 200% damage to garrisonable buildings. You're never going to see garrisons become a thing against Scrin, unless it's a Reckoner. Reckoners are different. You can't de-garrison those, you can't just use the Boston support power and just de-garrison a wreck, and I'm sure someone's tried that once or twice in the past. It does not work. Much like how Green Zero used to try and crush a Scrin Harvester with a Titan. I heard the legendary tale of that happening. Yes indeed guys, he thought at one point that Titans crushed Harvesters, but that was maybe like 10 years ago or longer. But yeah, speaking of Green Zero, I've got a couple of games versus Green Zero to show you all in a couple of days, so stay tuned to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to have a bunch of awesome content with Green Zero in it. Now, it would be nice to get Green Zero on call and again in the future, because I found like his contribution to my videos has been huge. He often produces the best videos on my channel, because he has a very entertaining commentary, let's just say, when I cast with him. I can't really say it's a cast, but you know what I'm talking about. Me and him both on comms while playing each other. Now, this game, you can see things are already a bit weird. I'm going for that rig. Santa rig may or not make a return this year. Haven't had the time to really put together something you know, that takes a lot of effort this Christmas, but I'll try my best guys to get a special Christmas video out for you all. Not long to go before that, less than 2 weeks as of the date of this video, so I need to get my move on and start working on that. I'm going to work on that 15 things you didn't know that Kane draft video as well, but again, that's a high effort video. I need a lot of time to do that, and I have, as you know, been busy on the R19 patch, as well as preparations for this big tournament that's underway currently. We'll see how I do in that tournament. I am to play the group stages tomorrow. A little bit nervous about them, of course, as always. Haven't really played in a big tournament in about 4 years, so I don't know how it's going to go. I may get knocked out early, I may do well, we'll see. All depends on how I feel on the day. That's a big part of it. Going for a really weird strategy here, guys. I'm going for a bunch of infantry, because I wanted them to think that I'm going for a rig with a load of APCs and Preds, but I instead went for that armory to upgrade Tiberium field suits, and I've got the ZOCOM walkers behind it as well, just to kill watchtowers and AP ammo, APCs and stuff like that. But this is a lot of mind games happening here. I'm against Phoenix, so this player who I'm against is a very good player. I got those infantry out, and I've got also a surveyor, guys. This game is just absolutely wild. This game is wild, so I'm going for a surveyor. I'm going to deploy that in my opponent's expansion. And my plan with that is to just spam a ton of infantry in his base, in his expansion field. I've got those ZOCOM walkers out. He's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to spam a lot of Pipples to deal with those. I'm not going to go for APCs because he's got these ZOCOM walkers. I need to go for Pipples instead. So we're going to see in his base what he's building. Yeah, see, he's building Pipples. He's not considering the fact that I could have an outpost, though he did take shots at it before, but he may have not noticed what was inside of the V-35. He saw it was a V-35, but he didn't maybe notice what was in the V-35. It was actually an outpost, a surveyor. And I'm starting to drop down these barracks now in this location. Outposts have a little bit more health in R19, so I can use those to also deploy SAM turrets, or in my case AA batteries. GDI don't like missiles, they just like conventional shells for their point defense systems, I guess they're called. GDI are into those, they're not into missiles. Nod, on the other hand, they like their missiles for intercepting aircraft. Harvester dodges the ZOCOM walkers. I did accomplish nothing there, but I am spamming a ton of missile squads. Phoenix does not know of this. That's a lot of infantry. I'm starting to spam those out, and that's about 14 missiles with Tiberium field suits. I'm also going to put down some AA batteries for good measure. All my orcas unfortunately get sniped on the deck, though. As that happened, hammerheads sweep in, kill all of my ZOCOM walkers. And he's a bit idle there with his hammerheads. Why do you think that is? Well, because I got freaking 14 missile squads in his expansion. He did notice this quickly, and he's not harvesting, as am I. I'm not really harvesting either. I've got one refinery in my expansion. I'm going to try and take out this refinery here. If I can do that, then that's going to put me ahead, I think, because I will, well, at least not on the back foot, because I'll have two refineries. And he'll have one refinery, I'll have one refinery. I'm spamming those AA turrets because I am very concerned about hammerheads. I've got the two AA turrets and the rocket squads. Yeah, these hammerheads are absolutely toast. He cannot afford to stay there. That was absolutely disastrous for him. He loses all but two of those hammerheads. One mistake like that against the Tiberium field suit infantry, and your hammerheads are toast. If I were him at this point, I would build sniper teams. This is such a good position for me to be in. It's just camping his field with mass ZOCOM infantry. Very hard for him to deal with, so he's probably going to go for sniping teams at this point. I was pretty aware of this, though I don't have an army of my own to combat his snipers with mine. That's what you see in Tiberium Wars, where hammerheads don't exist. Players just build sniper teams to kill the other guy's sniper teams. Snipers do reveal stealth, so I guess if you have like a pitbull as well in that situation, you can kill the enemy sniper team because you'll get sight of his sniper first. And this 8 ammo rifleman in that foxhole doing so much damage, promoting him up all the way to heroic. It's going to be doing some pretty sick damage to my refinery. He may actually take out my ref in my original base. That will deny ground control for me there. So I'm harvesting away happily. Juggernaut out there as well. He's not really harvesting Tiberium himself. I'm sniping harvesters that attempts to harvest. And I'm starting to get myself back into this game. I am going to lose my original base though. He does have that, whereas I don't. And I was like, okay, I need to deal with this AP ammo foxhole because he's just going to kill my refinery. Juggernauts out there, which I can deal with, but the AP ammo watchtower spam I cannot. I'm just going to keep them near my AA batteries, just keep them nice and safe there. And I'm going to go back into those ZOCOM walkers. They are a little bit cheaper in R19. They're $1,300, which is a cost reduction of $200 per unit. So that makes them a little bit more cost effective. And I'm just keeping the GDI player at bay because I don't want to get into that position where he's massively ahead of me or we're about even, because GDI typically win in an even game because of the Juggernaut pushes with 2 MCVs, which ZOCOM simply cannot really deal with. Now GDI can contest Firehawks with their own Firehawks, so if I go on a bombing run in the late game, he can just go into missile loadout and deal with my Firehawks. But I'm building up the ZOCOM Orcas again, because I'm going to use those to kill his Harvesters or Juggernauts and cement my lead in this game. Sniper team out there for him. I'm going to take that out with my Rifleman. That actually got a bit lucky there. Does get killed by the shell of the Juggernaut. And now this game is firmly in my grasp, but I do see he's got Firehawks out, which was much to the discontent of myself, because I thought I was going to go uncontested with these ZOCOM walkers. Now I'm going to see if I can try and snipe them on the deck. He may see these coming. He just swept in there with a hammerhead, and this could actually level the game out. The moment I saw he had Firehawks and I went for ZOCOM walkers, yeah, that is all it takes in a high skill game like this, where my opponent is high skilled. If I make one mistake in a transition, then it's going to allow him to get back in to the match. He's getting 3 kills on these ZOCOM orcas. I do kill yet another harvester, but that's not going to be enough. 1 harvester down, and more of these ZOCOM orcas will fall in the process. So I lost 8 ZOCOM orcas there for really just 1 harvester. That's not worth it at all. I'm starting to run dry on Tiberium, and because he hasn't been harvesting his field, he's going to be having tons of Tiberium to harvest himself. And this game is going to continue. So I'm going to start transferring some harvesters to the expansion tip field of my own. I did set up a base in the bottom, but I really want to try and establish a base in his field so that I can take my natural expansion afterwards, because I need a sizable eco advantage in this match. I'm going back for APCs and infantry, the best combination of units you can build in a GDI mirror. A bunch of APCs and infantry, you can't really go wrong with that. MCV expanded for Phoenix to his expansion, so he's going to start planting down those turrets. I've got these ZOCOM walkers as well, which I'm going to use on this war factory. I'm going to try and see if I can prevent something like a mammoth tank coming out. If one of those comes out, that's going to be pretty bad for me. Unfortunately, it was a predator tank, but yet the Firehawks are just bombing me continuously. I'm going to take to my tier 3 now, just so I can contest the air, because I am ZOCOM. ZOCOM have the legendary ceramic armor Firehawks, and they are basically unmatched when it comes to air superiority. So I'm going to get those ZOCOM Firehawks out, and I have the ceramic armor pre-purchased for my ZOCOM orcas. All of the ZOCOM aircraft, besides the V-35 Hawks, benefits from that ceramic armor upgrade. Sonic Miner down there for Phoenix. I'm going to return the favor and destroy his his first base. So he's going to be left down to that 1 base in the corner, whereas myself, I'm also in that 1 base. Things have actually leveled out because I haven't taken blue Tiberium. Now sure, I do have an expansion in his field, but I've only got 1 refinery there. So it's, despite the map situation, it's not actually that great for me here, because I did just lose my refinery, and now I've got no Tiberium left to harvest. So suddenly things have just took a turn for the worst. I don't have any income at all. I'm cycling through my harvesters by pressing the N key. You can do that by spamming N on your keyboard to see if you got any idle harvesters. There's no key like on StarCraft to see if you got idle harvesters, but if you cycle through all your harvesters, you'll see the ones that aren't working. And I really like the house color, that is to say the orange color for his faction in my 4K mod. It is the best thing about the 4K mod, the GDI player color, and this nod player color really does make a difference, really does pop in this. But it does make his structures more noticeable. He has got Firehawks. He's going to use those to kill me. I do believe in this game he purchased hard points, which was a really smart decision, because ZOCOM have double the armor on their Firehawks. So when you get that ceramic armor, which increases the missile payload by 50%, that will allow those GDI Firehawks to trade a lot better with the ZOCOM ones. So Phoenix has 3 Firehawks, I have 5. It's a battle of the air. Neither one of us have an expansion set up. He may have a refinery, in fact yes he does. So he's got a double ref established on his field, I have none. He's got also hardpoint Firehawks, I have just ceramic armor. So ceramic armor versus hardpoints, we're going to see who wins this. He's also got juggernauts, pred tanks out. I have basically no army comparable to that. So I'm going to see how this trade goes here. Remember, he has those hard points, but it takes a bad positioning and loses all of his Firehawks in the process. So I was actually pretty chuffed about that. I win the battle of the air, and if I can win the sky, then I can go into like zone red hammerheads later on. That's assuming I get down more income with the expansion. But Phoenix is starting to harvest himself. I'm organizing my income a little bit better because I have been taking blue Tiberium, but often you will see your harvesters go back to an empty blue Tiberium field and just harvest the seedlings, which you don't want to see happen. APCs, I'm just keeping those nearby for anti-air, see if I can kill any of the Firehawks. But I've got Firehawks of my own, I've got 6 here. I felt like it's not necessary to build 2 more. But I've got 6 Firehawks, I'm going to put those into bomb loadout. I was thinking, yeah, there's no way he's going to try and contest me with 6 Firehawks. But I made the wrong assumption. He actually did try to contest my air again, and he's going to snipe a lot of my Firehawks here. He's going to jump jet in and kill those. But I believe, yeah, he did that just then. But I also purchased the Stratifier boosters, and I like to set bookmark to where the location is of my airfields. So by default in Kane Draft, if you press Ctrl J, it will assign a camera bookmark. So wherever your camera is, if you press Ctrl J, it'll assign a bookmark to that location. Then you can just press J to go to that location instantly, and that's how I can jump there with the Firehawks quickly. Now, I took a terrible engagement there. I only come out with 1 Firehawk in the end, and there's a MAR facility as well down for Phoenix. I myself also have a MAR facility. I'm using a bit of micro here to dodge this sonic emitter, but it is tricky sometimes. I think one sonic emitter you can dodge, especially with the Nod units, because Nod have very fast mobile units, but GDI and Scrin ones, you need a little bit more micro to dodge sonic emitters, but they are possible to micro against. And because the laser fences and sonic propulsion fields have been nerfed in R19, I can actually bomb this Reclamator hub with 5 Vertigo, with 5 or even Vertigos. You can actually kill TF3s with 5 Firehawks, or 3 if you have hard points. If you knew that it only takes 3 Firehawks to bomb the TF3 with a fence, he can do that himself as well. But he, of course, is trying to contest the air. He's trying to stop my Firehawks from bombing his buildings. So a lot of attention focused to that, and that's going to give me some breathing time to get down a Marv of my own and Zone Raiders. And this battle will continue. And I'm going to jump in once again with these Firehawks with ceramic armor. I'm going to use the Stratifier here and jump on top of those Firehawks, get a nice snipe, and kill all of those Firehawks. So this is basically ZOCOM's condition of winning versus GDI, to try and win the air with ZOCOM Firehawks. And then when you can go into like Hammerheads or ZOCOM Orcas, or even build infantry of your own without being wow, I'm actually using my voice now, without being overwhelmed by Hammerheads, because again, he can't build Hammerheads, which is the GDI's natural counter to infantry spam. I always have to take a sip of water when I'm casting. I always lose my voice for some reason. Cybert never does, but I do. Got down my second refinery once again, and these Firehawk battles are just non-stop, and that time you saw the hard points made a big difference, sniping all but 2 of my Firehawks. So again, it's going to change the tides once again. He's got an expansion out, I have as well. But I also have my tier 3, so I can build Zone Raiders, and that's why I'm building an armory here, so I can upgrade the Power Packs upgrade, which allows my Zone Troopers and Zone Raiders to get more hit points, and it does also heal them over time when idle. That was buffed in R19. And I realized just how he's getting all this early warning. He's got VD5 Oxes on a continuous waypoint, just flying around the place. That's how he's able to see where my Firehawks are coming from, and he can just go ahead and intercept those. Another one of my refineries gets bombed. He's got 3 Firehawks. He knows he only needs 3. He does trade 3 Firehawks, but I stratted in, killed his. That is basically how it goes. He's actually microing really well, because he's got another 3 Firehawks on anti-air loadout, just waiting to bomb mine, to destroy mine. But my Marv is moving in, and my Commando as well just jumps in, immediately destroys the Reclamator hub. And Phoenix is wondering why he didn't get any early warning about this Commando. Well, that is because he had a V35 Ox, patrolling the map, so he would have got the warning as soon as I built it from the barracks, and he probably did jump to it, but you don't get spammed warnings constantly in Kane's Wrath. You will get one every 600 seconds, I believe. And I built this V35 Ox just to absorb some shots from these Firehawks. And the thing about Firehawks I really like is the fact that you can strato in. That's why I made the ability cost $1,500, because in the mirrors, with those sonic repulsion fields being a lot less effective, stratoing in and bombing tier 3 with just 3 Firehawks is a really big indirect buff to the Firehawk. That's why the Stratifier booster had a cost increase, as well as a cost time to upgrade increase as well. Now, I've taken some significant damage, but I've rebuilt all my Firehawks again, and I've got 8 in total now, so I now know for sure that I have complete control of the skies. I have this Marv as well. I'm going to get down a rig and start healing this Marv up. I can even put engineers in it as well. But I can see his tier 3, and you're going to see just how many Firehawks it takes to bomb a tier 3 with a fence in R19. Remember, it's 8 in the vanilla game, and in R19 it's only 5 with the yeah, you can see it's just 5 Firehawks with the fence. A lot of blue tip regrowing, and I'm going to start spamming those zone raiders out like mad. And because he can't build hammer hits, this is really it. I'm going into zone raiders only because I know the means of which he has to counter as mass zone raider when I control the air is very limited. You can go sniper team, sure, but zone raiders have decent range too. I can also jump jet on top of the sniper teams and kill them. Zone raiders also have the stealth detection on them, so you can detect stealth at a pretty good radius. Zone raiders are also ZOCOM's best counter to stealth tanks, though that does require a significant amount of effort because you've got to focus fire the ground and kind of predict where the stealth tank will go. I've got these Firehawks ready to go. I see 2 of his structures really close together, and what you can do is focus fire between both of the buildings, and the splash damage will destroy both of them. I used the Orca Strike first just to bait the Firehawks to bomb and use their missiles on the Orca Strike itself. So I was expecting to lose these 3, but somehow I don't. The Firehawks somehow do not kill those, and now I've got a sufficient number of zone raiders to just move across the map, Q-move, and kill the rest of Phoenix's base. He did just lose his expansion, and his MCV is poised to go down as well. Rig getting deployed for that healing up. That first rig didn't do too much, but this second one here is for a different utility. I'm going to use that to heal my epic unit up, which is what rigs are typically used for. And now I expect him to throw in the towel because he sees all these zone raiders, also 7 Firehawks on bomb loadout, just going to annihilate this Carnage. But Phoenix decides to throw it in. That's going to be GG. And I thought that was a pretty exciting game, showing what a ZOCOM versus GDI game can turn into, especially when things got so crazy early on. Pretty nuts game, especially with that outpost strategy, which I thought was really unique and interesting. And then it continued into somewhat of a normal game where both of us swapped positions. I was ahead and then he was ahead. I took some good trades, he took some good trades, and it went on for quite a while, and I thought that was a fun game to cast and to observe and to share with you all. So I want to thank you all very much, guys, for watching this game. If you did enjoy this game, then don't forget to hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. And I'd again like to thank everyone who has been supporting me on Patreon. You guys and your support have been amazing, and without you all on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do the 4K mod and the R19 patch, as well as create these videos regularly with the motivation that I had. So yeah, guys, last but not least, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. This is Master Leaf. Peace out.